Hey everybody, this is Randy and Tammy with Cause for Travels, and this is our second...
Your hat looks funny. Okay, I fixed it.
Okay, so this is our second installment of our, or actually third if you want to count the ship, of our cruise to the Dominican Republic, Amber Cove, you saw in the previous one, and Grand Turk, and the Turks and Caicos. You can't get that wrong or she corrects you on it. But hopefully, you know, this was, we'll give you some more thoughts at the end. Hopefully you like the video and everything that you see. And we'll give you our thoughts on Grand Turk after we're done. And yeah, so follow us along and hopefully you enjoy what you see. Okay, everybody. Well, that's going to do it for us at the Grand Turk and Turks and Caicos. What'd you think about this island, Tammy?
It reminded me of the Florida Keys. It was flat. It compared to the Dominican, which we hit first. My favorite was the Dominican because of the beauty. There was nothing wrong with Grand Turks. We did experience the beach. It looks like there's a lot of building going on in that area. But it was flat. Flat.
There is. It just depends on what you like to do. We are very active. You saw
I love nature.
The previous video. You got to see, zip lining and everything
snorkeled.
like that. And but here, we got a cabana for the day. It was my sister's birthday. It was actually Valentine's Day. We got a cabana for the day. It was right on the beach. They are not expensive at all. I think it was like $40
it was a
for the day.
clamshell.
Yeah, is that it? Yeah. It kind of came up, but still it shielded you from the sun. It's very, very, very comfortable.
Yeah.
And then, I kind of got bored because I don't like to just sit around, and I went and got snorkel equipment, and I forgot mine here at home, which is much better than you can rent, by the way, so just don't suck in when you're there because you will taste seawater. But it's only, you give them $10 for the day, you give them your key card to your ship, and when you bring it back to them, they give you your key card back, and that's it. So it wasn't an expensive day, I didn't think.
I was actually surprised to see a Harley Davidson shop. We have some friends that are big Harley Davidson lovers. So that really shocked me. But
and it does say Harley Davidson of the Turks. It calls it out. You can seen it on the video, and I got a shot of the motorcycle that was in there and everything. But it did. I agree with Tammy. It did remind you of the Florida Keys, more specifically Key West.
I wouldn't say Key West because Key West is more of a party town. This one, it was very quiet.
Play in the water. You play in the water and you can shop.
And when you're on your ship, you can see the island that the part that we were on wasn't very wide. I mean, it didn't look like a very large island, but it's more than one island, and we only seen a small part of it. So I have to remember that. But I would definitely, if you're going there, do an excursion because it was smaller than the Dominican. It did have stuff to do, but not as much. And be warned, where we sat was the area for the cruise. You did have people come up and say, hey, come over here and sit, and they'll charge you.
It's cheaper, you get free Wi-Fi with it and everything like that.
But I caution you because, we stayed in a protected area because this is our first time. We wanted to experience what it's like there. We didn't go off that area, and they were trying to get you over there. I'm not saying that that's going to be bad or anything. But we are cautious because you're in a different country. You got to be careful with your credit cards. You got to be careful with your cash. You just got to be real careful. Where we sat, there were lifeguards, which were great and hilarious. There was also a Margaritaville. Very loud. That was your party area. There was a pool there, but we stayed at the beach. You had some good shopping.
You had a lot of shopping. You had a lot of shopping. Some of it authentic, some of it chains.
A lot of it was chains, but you have a lot of building going on there too. It wasn't like I said, it wasn't as big as Amber Cove.
So Amber Cove, if you want to compare the two, Amber Cove, I would say, if you didn't want to go on excursion, if you didn't want to go on an excursion, there is enough to do at Amber Cove to keep you busy. Grand Turk, I would say the opposite.
Yes.
I would say do an excursion. Do an excursion because unless you just like to lay on the beach and stuff. So.
And I would recommend to get your excursion through the cruise line because if the excursion's late and it's through the cruise line,
they wave to you from the ship as they're leaving.
No, if it's through the cruise line, they wait for you.
But I'm saying if it's not through the cruise line,
then
the captain will wait a reasonable amount of time, and then they just wave to you as they're leaving.
They take your stuff off the ship, and you don't want to be that person. And we were really fortunate. No one was late on our ship. We didn't see any runners, the pier runners. We were looking because, you hear about them all the time. But we didn't. I think our group, and
I think it was a very respectful group. I mean,
on the ship, yes, everybody was pretty courteous of each other. I mean, you always have those few, but other than that, it was pretty to see. It was totally opposite of the Dominican, because after the Dominican, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, all these islands are going to be like that, and they're not. But that doesn't mean it's bad. It's just different. We need to explore that a little bit more. We chose not to do a snorkeling excursion for either one because we've done that in the Keys. We want to do different things. But first, we actually wanted to see what the ports are like so we can come back and tell you.
Well, you can still snorkel. You do it in a protected area. And I have some footage. Hopefully it looks good on here. But the footage of the fish that I got to see that were down there, stingrays and stuff like that. A lot of the fish that I have, saltwater fish that I have in my tank, and it was really cool to see them
in their
own environment. And it was very rough.
The waters were rough.
The seas were angry. They were angry. So
we also didn't travel very far for that. But different island, totally different than the first. So it was still a very nice time. Randy picked up some rum. They have a lot of flavored rum that is actually made there. No cigars.
No.
The cigars are not made there.
Grand Turk is known for its rum, and they have great rum.
And they will give you taste.
They do. You basically do shots. You can get a taste of every one.
They're tiny.
They do spiced. They do mango. They do vanilla. I can't remember. There was like 2 or 3 other flavors that I can't remember. And they tasted exactly
coconut.
Exactly like, the coconut tastes more like a pina colada.
I didn't taste them. I do not do shots. I do not like the taste of liquor. It has to be covered up.
Candied. But, but kind of like her vegetables. But they did. That is the one thing I asked for, again, from my friend. He likes a good cigar, and I got him some in the Dominican that they made in the Dominican. But when I asked for the Turks, they didn't have any. What they did have is good Cubano cigars. And so I picked up one of those, but the rum was the highlight. And it wasn't expensive, and it's duty-free. So
to a certain extent. You can't buy a mass
You can't go buy a case. But, if you buy a bottle or 2 or 3, I think that it's tax-free. You have to check it before they get onto the ship.
Yeah.
They give it back to you on your last day as you disembark. And, and you pay, I think for 2 bottles, I paid like $40 or something like that. It was something very small, and they were very large bottles.
Yeah, the liquor was very cheap. We don't smoke, and we didn't know the price of cigarettes, but we were told the cigarettes there were cheap, and it's like, okay then.
It's something that you have to experience for yourself. It's like I said, we are more active, so I would definitely have recommended a shore, an excursion, going and doing an excursion versus staying on shore. But you can swim,
absolutely.
You can snorkel in the water, but there's just only so much you're going to see when you're there.
It's smaller.
So,
it's much smaller.
All right, so I think that's going to do it for us. If you like this content, whack her a like, as I always say. If you want to see more, please subscribe. We appreciate all you subscribers.
And there will be more cruise videos.
I apologize in advance, if you had background noise, but our production crew, which are the 3 bulldogs, Baxter is deciding to be loud today and walking around. So,
it's Florida, and it's in the 80s, almost 90s.
But if you can hear him, apologize. But they are our production crew, so we kind of have to live with that.
And they don't like it when we're gone.
No. And then when we put on stuff like that, they think we're leaving. But anyway, whack her like, subscribe. If you want to do something like this, reach out to Tammy at tammy@causfortravels.com or any of her social media channels, and she would be happy to put something together for you like this. We did this, put together these videos. So those of you who haven't been, can actually get the experience or see or potentially intrigue you to go.
And if you haven't gone, go. Yeah. Because when you add up the cost of other trips, like a week-long trip somewhere, you're paying for housing, you're paying for food, unless you go to an all-inclusive. You're paying for gas, you're paying for so much. And on the cruise, you can pay for it all at once. I always recommend prepaid gratuities. Prepay as much as you can. If you want that drink package, get it, before you get on the ship because it'll be cheaper. But if you do the math, the ship is a really good deal because you got your entertainment. You got your food choices, many different food choices. You have a lot. And then you're going to go to different places, countries.
You get to go to a different country.
You get to go to a different country. It is a very good deal.
Necessarily to go there. Everything's there. So definitely recommend it.
Yep. So don't be afraid.
I think that's it this time, right? I'm not going to do it again.
Maybe.
Whack her a like, subscribe, reach out to Tammy. That's it. We're done, right? Until next time, guys.
Bye.